Всем привет, это как всегда Игорь, и мы продолжаем прохождение. Приятного просмотра.
That went well, did it not? It is always useful to bolster the troops' morale, especially before a difficult battle.
You have the makings of a general, my lord.
I was, though very long ago, well, not quite a general, but a proud defender of the crown.
So why did you really want to meet me?
Straight to the point again, young Ekon. All right, let's talk, you and I, Lance Sparrow.
I'm listening, my lord.
According to my spies, you have worked with Dr. Edgar Swansea on the epidemic, and your findings were quite alarming.
Do you know Edgar Swansea?
Not personally, but I've been told he has some sort of immortal fetish and is a good friend of yours.
Does it bother you that I consider him my good friend?
As long as you reveal nothing of the club's inner workings, why should I forbid you engaging in conversation with the good Dr. Swansea?
You were spying on me?
Not personally. I rarely leave this building. But once he found you, Fergal kept me informed. Until you put an end to his mission.
Who was Fergal? I don't see him sipping tea with the others in the club.
Fergal Banshire was my squire of sorts. Even before becoming that magnificent beast, he was a brute. He served me well for decades.
No, I mean, what was he? He was clearly no ordinary vampire.
No, he was a Volcod, all muscles and instinct. Quite the rare breed, ferociously territorial. Mortals often mistake them for werewolves.
You do know I killed him.
Yes.
Will you bear ill will towards me for his death?
Of course not. Your victory was quite impressive and courageous. You earned my respect.
Yes, I'm convinced the recent invasion of frenzied scowls in London is directly linked to the epidemic. This is not the Spanish flu, but something else.
I would be glad to hear more of your discoveries, Dr. Reid, but for now, my main concern is the security of London's inhabitants, both mortal and immortal.
What do you mean?
Alarmed by the epidemic, the Guard of Prewen has started a war against us British vampires. To appease the situation, we must eradicate the Skulls.
I have met peaceful and wise Skulls. To exterminate them means we are no better than vampire hunters.
Skulls are hideous, shameful creatures that give all Ekon a bad name.
So, what do you want me to do?
I want you to investigate the city thoroughly. I have reason to fear there are cases of contagion in this part of town. Our absolute priority is to find and cleanse them.
And how would you like me to proceed?
By all means necessary, Dr. Reid. You are now a member of the Ascalon Club and you have carte blanche. Interrogate the locals, follow all the leads you find, and get results.
Глава 4. Ты ч... Блин, не ту кнопку давлю и думаю, что он не идет. Ладно, бежим. Можно скушать еще одного, да? Даже двух. Пока мы идем. Буду рядом, там, где магазинчик, ну, где бандюган стоит, его можно и скушать, очков поднакопить. Прокачиваться, потому что еще очень много.
I think Lord Redgrave just suggested I was sired by an ancient vampire.
And women.
Good evening, miss.
Oh
То есть мне со всеми болтать надо.
Please, Mr. Vampire, don't kill me. Please, no. I'm too young to die. I still have so much to offer this world.
Wait, no. Why do you think I would... What?
Don't worry, Dr. Reid. I know you wouldn't harm me. Mother told me you were in this part of town and might drop by.
Your mother?
My name is Charlotte, sir. Charlotte Ashbury. My mother taught me long ago how to recognize the signs that betray a vampire.
I understand she also taught you how to tease and gently mock innocent young Ekons. It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Charlotte. What do you think about this part of town?
I was raised here, and I suppose it feels like home. You grew up in this part of town too, did you not?
Yes, I was born a few streets away.
A small world, is it not? Did you ever imagine that my mother was your neighbor all that time? That you could have met her in a dark alley at night?
You won't trick me twice, young lady. We both know Lady Ashbury never hunts or attacks prey at random.
Come on, Doctor. Don't tell me you never thought about that possibility. Her fangs on your neck. Oh, are you blushing, Dr. Reed?
Is there something that's bothering you?
Too much selfishness and individualism for my taste. Even when there was no epidemic.
Even if that's partly true, may I remind you that many charitable institutions are financed by the selfish and filthy rich.
I suppose you're right. But society must reform and renew itself, or we are all done for.
What are you doing out here?
You mean, what do I do outside at night, since I am a woman? Let me ask you a question, sir. Would you ask the same question of a man?
Actually, yes. I ask the same question to everyone who dares to go outside at night, considering the risks.
Well, if you must know, I campaign for the right to vote for all women. Why should I wait to the age of 30 years when men can vote at 21?
Are you a suffragette, then? Oh, you really are Elizabeth's girl. Without a doubt.
All adult women have the right to vote in the US, in New Zealand, and in Australia. But women here can't vote unless they are property owners.
No need to convince me, Miss Charlotte. I have shared your opinion for a long time, even before I met Emmeline Pankhurst.
Really? Oh. Now I see why my mother appreciates you so much. Too bad there aren't more men like you in the vicinity.
How are the locals reacting to your claims?
People here can't wait for a wall to be built to isolate the West End from the rest of town. That's how progressive they are. If this happens, Emily and I will blow it up.
Explosives are very dangerous, young lady. And who is this Emily?
She is my best friend, and a suffragette too. She was supposed to campaign with me tonight, but hasn't turned up.
Have you any reason to be worried about her?
Recently, Emily started to believe in... well, she got interested in vampires. I'm afraid she might be in trouble.
Let me guess. You spoke to her about us, didn't you? Despite your mother's warning. I think I should try to find your friend.
Oh, that would be top-notch. I can tell you where she might have gone. You have my thanks, Dr. Reed. And please, don't tell my mother.
$2500.
Tell me about your adoption.
What do you want to know?
Who are your real parents?
Elizabeth Ashbury is my real mother. She raised me and has taken care of me all my life. I have no idea who my progenitors are or were.
Do you live with her?
I still spend a lot of time in my mother's mansion, but I have my own house now. I have a life to live, you see. And one day, I'll have my death to face.
How did you meet Lady Ashbury?
First, I was an orphan in the institution for girls she manages in the West End. When I was 10, she adopted me, and I have lived with her ever since.
Did you know she was a vampire when she picked you?
The correct word is Ekon, Doctor. And no, I had no idea why my mother only showed up at night. She told me everything when I turned 16, though I suspected the truth for a long time before that.
What exactly has your mother told you about me?
Your name and profession, obviously, and the mystery about your maker. I'm sorry to hear about what happened to your sister, sir. Mother says it was not your fault.
Does it not scare you to know what I am? What your mother is?
Why should it? My mother is the most compassionate woman. Must I be wary of her, Dr. Reed? Or you?
Of course not. You have nothing to fear from me, or your mother.
Good to know. And don't worry, my mother told me everything I need to know about vampire tricks, their nature as well as features.
Your mother is not like any other vampire I've met.
I believe she thinks the same about you, Dr. Reed.
Do you know why Lady Ashbury chose you to become her daughter?
No, I don't. Each time I ask her that question, she smiles and says it's precisely because I dare to ask such questions.
Do you ever regret that she chose you?
Of course not. Though I often wonder if she adopted others before me. If so, where are they buried? How is it for them to pass through life with a never-aging mother?
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Have you noticed anything unusual recently?
A few days ago, I spotted a strange house while campaigning for women's suffrage. Awful smell. No answer when I knocked.
Where is it?
It's the Mullaneys, a nice family who live in a big house near the park in the eastern part of this neighborhood.
Goodbye, Charlotte. Give my best regards to your mother when you see her.
She's been quite busy these last few nights. I suspect you may see her before me.
Горожанин.
Remember, don't let...
Good evening, sir. May I have your attention, please?
Come on, Johnny. Don't you recognize your oldest friend?
Clarence. Clarence Crossley. How are you? My God. So you survived the war too. So sorry I didn't recognize you at first.
I almost didn't recognize you either. War does that to men, I heard. In my case, it was true, for I witnessed the horror that lies underneath.
У меня нет лекарства от мигрени.
When did you escape the war and return to London?
You know what's funny? I almost never think about the war. Not anymore. I'm involved in another kind of battle now.
I know what you mean. I haven't had much time to think about the war either since my return.
Of course. With the epidemic, I bet you've been busy as well. Forgive me, Johnny, I didn't want to sound selfish.
What is this new battle?
I saw terrible things during the war. Horrors I thought I'd forget. They're here too. They're everywhere. Vampires.
How is your wife, Venus?
We've spent so much time away from each other. And so many things have happened.
But you're alive. You returned in one piece and you have a family. How many soldiers can say the same?
Believe me, it's not quite that simple. Unlike you, I'm not the man I used to be.
Is everything all right at home? Surely Venus was relieved to see you return from France in one piece.
Have you forgot what people are like in this part of town, Johnny? Venus fears for our family reputation. Now her husband has become the village idiot.
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Can you help me?
Infection is everywhere these days. And if you ever go to the park near that swanky house belonging to the Mullaneys...
Yes? What about the Mullaneys? What about their house?
Not enough noise for a big family with children. Not enough movement. Closed doors. What is going on in there? I wonder.
You need some rest, Clarence. You should try to sleep.
Зачем мне все с горожанами говорить? Мне же сказали парк. Вот это парк, наверное, столбы. Или вот это парк. Короче, я все равно дом не знаю.
Why are vampire hunters sniffing around here? I need to find out what they're after.
О, ни хрена с меня сняли. Отходи. Зря израсходовал. Карантин. Карантин, карантин.
Crush the leech, boy!
Меня снимают. Давай, давай, кушай быстрее. Нет. Вали. Со стрелами много снимает. «31 метр». Здесь кто-то есть. Крыски, у меня кровь полная. Сюда привел, и тут никого не было. А вот этот дом.
This woman's body has multiple lacerations. They're deep, too. Whoever did this was driven by rage.
Это этот дом. Мне еще с кем-то разговариваю. А нет, хотя может и нет. Парка нет. Ну ладно, все равно пройдемся, дом-то большой.
He had his tongue removed and his eyes gouged out. He was a victim of brutal torture.
Пытались, что-то хотели узнать. Здесь по-любому кто-то будет. Монстр.
This one's neck is broken. He was young. Probably the son.
Лутецкий. Дверь не открывается. Это комнатка. Размеры.
You killed your family.
They mocked my talent!
Фокус, давай. Ты меня кислотой заплевала.
I've never seen such a radical mutation. Could it be a new stage in the disease's evolution?
Говорить с горожанами, мне все поговорить нужно. Кровь потратил, надо было мне в эту кислоту зайти.
So, this girl took lessons at the famous Doris Fletcher acting school.
Нет, я отсюда пришел. Кровишки надо будет подкопить. Пузырьки. Что это пузырьки? Ну, просто лут. Нет, мне еще с горожанами разговариваю. Уже лечиться нечем будет. Блин, не восстанавливает. А, кровь восстановил у тебя. Ладно. Я же его не кусал. Тут убежище должно быть. Обычно же где крысы, там убежище. Я не ожидал, мне кровь надо восстановить, отстать за своими ожиданиями. Ну, здесь я был, это не убежище. А, вот парк, да? Нет, мне там с горожанами нужно разговаривать. Уже прям красное пятно. Не, бежать перестал. Ладно, раз здесь, так здесь будем общаться. И 1000 очков. А где убежище? Нет, я не туда бегу. Убежище где-то здесь. А, убежище, это же дом, наверное. С ней я уже болтал. Нет, тогда домой не побежим, там в обход надо бежать. Это его друг, с которым мы уже поговорили. Территория маленькая, людей больше никого не вижу. Алло, человек.
Good evening, miss. Can I help you? I'm a doctor. Dr. Jonathan Reid.
I am Karina Billow. I don't need any doctor. The rats. Where are the rats?
Miss, you don't seem well at all. Are you afraid of rats? Has one bitten you?
No, it's me who bites them. Tasty, juicy, disgusting rats. I can't stop eating them. Help me, please. help me to disobey the voice.
What happened to you?
The rats. The answer hides in their little crunchy bones, their juicy, tiny brains.
Miss Billow, please, try to concentrate. Why do you worry about rats so much?
The voice in my head. He forces me to do so. Drink their blood, he said. Eat their flesh.
Do you feel compelled to obey that voice, Miss Billow? Even if you're loath to submit to it?
Yes. Please. Help.
Tell me about the voice in your head. Who is it? Can you describe it? Is it someone you know? Someone you met?
Keep your mouth shut, he said. Don't ever speak about me, or I'll abandon you. Help me, please, Doctor.
What is the local news hereabouts, Miss Billow?
Shadows. Shadows hunting shadows. Whispers in the dark. Pestilence. Suffering. Death.
Tell me about yourself, Miss Billow. What do you do for a living?
Oh, I'm hungry. Need to eat. Have you got something for me? Blood, perhaps? Can you give me blood, Dr. Reed?
Don't you remember who you are, miss? What you did for work?
I was strong, proud. I campaigned for good causes. But that was before. Before. It does not matter anymore. I'm so hungry.
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Have you noticed anything unusual recently?
Infection. Infection. The rats carry it, I heard. Rats. 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 Many rats around that big house. Funny smell, too. Dead flesh.
And where is this house?
West of the park. Not very far. A big house with no sound, no light, no life left.
I must go now. Goodbye, Miss Billow.
Я же уже спросил. Мне все их расспрашивать, если я уже знаю, где он. Примерно. А тут что? Это же этот особняк, да? Просто с другой стороны вход. Опа. Это в подвал проход. Канализация. Просто наверняка не смогу найти этот дом, пока всех не прошу. И все, я не знаю. Уже здесь бывал, я уже по кругу все обошел. Вот это парк, по-любому, да? Да, я бегал. Листовки. Да никого уже тут нет. Дверь есть.
Hello? Is anyone there?
Jonathan, is that you? I did not know you were back in London. Oh, my dear Johnny, I'm so sorry for your loss. Mary was such a sweetheart.
Thank you, Venus. May I come in?
I was going to bed, actually.
I'm sure you can spare me a few minutes. For old time's sake.
Of course you may enter, Jonathan. Know that you are always welcome here. But at this hour of night?
It's a pleasure to see you again, Venus.
So you returned from the war in one piece too. Thank God. My Clarence is back home too.
How is the old rascal?
Probably outside, chasing ghosts and chimeras. Clarence has changed a lot since he returned from the war, you know.
How have you been since the last time we met? How long has it been? 3 years now?
I've done my duty, like all British women. You have no idea what it was like to wait for months without knowing if I'd still be a wife or a widow.
I understand. Luckily, this part of town has been saved from the worst of the bombings, from what I've seen.
Yes, and it's also true about the epidemic. The flu has killed here too, of course, but not on such a large scale as in other parts of town.
Have you noticed anything peculiar about the neighborhood recently?
You mean except for your return to town? No. Oh, and again, Jonathan, please accept my condolences for your sister.
Thank you, Venus. It was so sudden. And I've been so busy, I haven't spoken to anyone about it.
I wish I could have assisted at the funeral, but you know, it's been so quick. And what with the epidemic in the streets?
There's no need to apologize, my dear. It's normal, considering the circumstances.
No, it's not. I am sure that Clarence has not even thought to present you his condolences. He is too busy with his penny dreadful stories.
Why is my return so surprising?
It's more an unexpected happy end than a surprise. You and Clarence, back from the war. You have no idea how hard it's been for me.
Venus, why do you worry so much about your family's reputation?
Everyone laughs at Clarence now. And they avoid me because they believe I share his insane opinions. I'm a leper in my own community.
Tell me about Clarence's obsession with vampires.
It drives me so crazy it makes my stomach hurt. I was so relieved to have him back. But I quickly realized he'd lost his mind in France.
I understand your irritation, Venus. But you have to accept the trauma Clarence endured on the battlefield.
The question is simple, Jonathan. Is my husband mad? Yes or no? Do vampires exist? Or is Clarence a lunatic?
So you don't believe Clarence?
If poor Mary, bless her soul, had tried to convince you of the existence of bloody vampires, would you have believed her? Seriously?
The important question is, what do you really think of your husband?
I'm tough, Jonathan. He should have told me the horrors he witnessed, however appalling it was, instead of inventing a fantasy about blood-drinking monsters.
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district. Have you noticed anything unusual?
The McPhersons. I heard they locked themselves in their own house.
They could just be afraid of getting sick.
Perhaps you're right. But if I were you, I'd pay them a visit. A big house, reachable through a courtyard, to the north of the railway bridge.
Goodbye for now.
At least you survived the Great War. I feared the worst.
Еще не со всеми поговорим. Мне добраться. Говорить с человеком, который прячется в канализации. Доп. Задание. Надо и доп. Задание выполнять. Чтобы обстановка поспокойнее стала. Завтра выходной, может, повыполнять доп. Задание без записи. Просто прокачиваю. Бегаю в наглую, лутаюсь в чужом доме. Платишка, платишка. Мне это все нужнее, чем ей.
It's locked.
Дневник Венеры. Кто хочет, почитает. То есть тут все.
No invitation is needed to enter this building. That can't be a good sign. No sign of a struggle. It seems Charlotte's friend knew the killer and let him in. Emily wanted to become a vampire. Something must have gone wrong. Someone is responsible for this mess. But who?
Чего? О ком ты вообще?
Blood. I should follow the trail.
Это, наверное. Подруга той. Дочки приемной. Вперед, там. Человек. Человек.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
I could ask you the same question.
I'm the Marquis de Bois-Colombes, and I strongly invite you to find your own game, sir.
I appreciate the invitation, but I'm here to solve the mystery concerning the death of a young woman killed by a vampire.
A young woman killed by a vampire? Oh, you're joking, right? Oh, I do love the British sense of humor.
And who exactly are you?
I am Jacques-Michel Guillaume Florimond de Marquis de Bois-Colombes, at your service, my dear cousin.
You're French, but your English is quite good.
I was born in France, sir, but I consider myself a traveler of this world. So many countries, so many tantalizing tastes.
Dear cousin, are we related?
We could be of the same blood, my dear. I tend to consider all Econs as family, don't you?
What are you doing here?
I recently decided to visit London. I've always dreamed of visiting a city on the verge of collapse. Such a delicate, yet intense spectacle.
You take pleasure from others' misery.
I have been a totally depraved and immoral creature since the day I was reborn, sir. And probably before.
What do you plan to do here?
Take pleasure. Take pictures. Enjoy the show. Have fun. Believe me, I won't be the only foreign immortal who bought a ticket to the fair.
I followed the trail of blood from her room to here.
Oh, you're referring to that young woman. Yes, the meeting turned messy. I'm afraid I ruined my last wedding good.
So you admit you murdered her?
I admit nothing, my good sir. I only regret the blood of that girl staining my clothes. Oh, blood can be so messy.
What happened?
She wanted to become one of us. Not the first time I have received such a proposal, but I must admit her direct approach tempted me.
And then what?
The body rejected my blood. It happens, you know, sometimes even with voluntary prey. At least her gurglings brought me some fun, until the artery burst.
I believe you, sir. Emily's diary confirms your statement.
Oh, Emily was her name. Quite charming. Well, mystery solved then.
Yes, I suppose so. You can go.
And so can you. Farewell, sir. May you enjoy the spectacle of this fallen city as much as I do.
И что это расследование не прошло? Не, наверное, все закончилось расследование. Короче, надо возвращаться. Думал, обойду, нет. 10. Можно было бы убить, но а смысл? Правда, я записку не читал, я не знаю, что там сказано. Не сюда. Время-то есть еще, да? Еще полно. Ну, не полно, хотелось бы больше, но оно сколько есть. Сколько есть, столько есть.
That building is under quarantine. Could this be what I'm looking for?
Мне туда попасть сначала нужно. Нет, наверное, мне в обход как-то идти. А вон есть подъем. Давай, пятерочку. Давай, здоровье. Ты чего творишь? Вот что это было в прошлый раз, они взрываются. За подстава. Кровь закончилась. Рукоять нашел еще, что 5 надо, да? Я думал, что за взрыв был, это они взрываются. Я туда, куда нужно, пришел. Через дверь выйду и как раз туда. Ай, глуши его. Опять кислотный урод. Давай, отходи. Он сейчас рванет. Давай. Здоровья не хватает. Я же вылечиться не могу. Не помереть здесь. А вот у меня же G есть. Второй источник, а когда я первый ликвидировал? Крысы, крысы, крысы. Мое спасение.
This is despicable.
Давай же. Еще есть. Что за подстава? Чего, блин, G нажал? Не успел G нажать. То есть она когда защищается, и вообще бить нельзя. У нее активная защита. Ой, здесь появился. Ходи. Здесь снова не остаться. Еще и промахнулся. Кто это? Опять кислотные ключи. Что такое? Что мне так не везет с ней? Надо аккуратненько с ней драться. О, давай, давай. И сразу отходим. Она не взрывается. Крысками перекусим. Давай, кушай, кушай.
I have this thirst for blood. I can't believe I'm doing this.
Аптеки нужно сделать.
I have this thirst for blood.
Давай, давай, давай. Тормози.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
Ворота отперли, теперь обходить не обязательно. Откуда еще один появился? Почти 4000, покачаться можно. О, помповый дробовик. Блин. Мне бы оружие другое в руку прокачать. По заданию идти тоже скоро заканчивать, я еще задание не выполнил. Да отходи! Мы проиграем. Да что такое, блин? Я не вылечиться, ничего не успеваю. Это кислотные перемещалкой. Вообще кошмар какой-то. И теперь на улице они снова резнулись. Вот это раздражает, то, что они рисуются все по новой. Мне еще и лечилок с собой не хватает. Это сохранилось, то, что я все забрал. Надо хоть домой возвращаться, лечилок набирать. Да блин! Нажал же ты! Ты чего не лечишься? Чего за бред? Т давлю, он все вколол и не вылечился ни хрена. Что толку я тогда нажимаю? Они еще и разговаривают. Ни одного бы снять. И опять лечилку забирают. Почему их забирают? Почему так нечестно? Давай, отходи. Долбаная кислота. Да как так я... Как он в прыжке на меня напрыгнул? Давай. Почему-то предпочтительнее, чтобы они меня ударили, а не я. Я нажал. Я нажал двойку, удар, но прошел его удар, а не мой. Но он легче, чем так. И с двоими, соответственно, тяжелее играть. Опять монет. Я еще вообще ничего не покупал ни разу. Да, может, для улучшения что-нибудь набрать. Сейчас успеем, не знаю. Пропаду. Сначала залутаемся. Мой дорогой, спасибо за прекрасные духи и шубу. Я мечтаю о том, чтобы твои руки скорее обняли меня, ведь только с тобой, мой герой. Я ощущаю себя счастливой. Пожалуйста, возвращайся скорее, я умираю от желания снова прижаться к твоей груди. Да, мой любимый, мой дорогой, возвращайся ко мне, и я подарю тебе ночь бесконечной, неудержной страсти. Прямо сейчас на меня только последние из твоих подарков. О, да, я сгораю от желания, мечтаю поделиться с тобой своей неукротимой страстью, преданная тебе, Дорис Флетчер.
So the husband had an affair with Doris Fletcher.
То есть все? Тут все? Теперь куда меня отправляют?
I should go to her.
Цай. Немного надоедает повторно всех валить. Ай, блин. Канате может. Как я сюда попал? Нет, в обход нужно идти. Пи-пи-пи-пи. Я думаю, у нее больше жизни. Я думал, у меня еще удары в запасе для нее. Короче, время еще есть, надо домой идти. Цапай, 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 на кровишку нужно. Это стали вы уже, дайте мне до дома дойти. Не могу пролететь. Вали. Кислотная фигня. Блин. Ладно, давайте будем заканчивать. Это что такое? Вы чего издеваетесь? Я уже домой зашел. Ладно, давайте будем заканчивать. Я домой доберусь. И... Блин, столько раз от этой кислоты сдохну. Надо было лечиться, я думал, все, победил. Ладно, заканчиваем, скоро продолжим. Всем спасибо за просмотр. Я в квартире у себя появился, что ли? Где я появился? В доме, да. Ладно, продолжим скоро, там прокачаемся в начале серии. А пока что все. Всем спасибо за просмотр. Пока-пока.